Hello and welcome back to Hanksy Panksy Honor Among Reeves, a podcast where two dumb idiot best friends absconded with Tom Hanks, purloined Dwayne Johnson, and are about to be absolutely mugged by Keanu Reeves. I'm Sam Siegel, and I'm stealing your role in the play.
Okay, well, it's funny you say that because I'm like Patrick, I'm the other dumb idiot, and this week I was going to be your understudy.
Interesting.
So technically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm over here lusting after the part. I am better than you at this. I know this. I've trained so hard, but you're the big name on the bill. So
yeah, and I bogarted it.
You bogarted it hard. But if you maybe something happens to you, you know?
Yeah, who knows, this time of year.
Yeah.
It's slippery.
Maybe here in Buffalo, New York, something happens to you. You get in a little accident, and who do they call? The lowly understudy.
Yeah, little understudy.
The understudy here in Buffalo.
Yeah, Luke, obviously, we watched the 2010 hit film, Henry's Crime.
Yeah.
How was your watch?
My watch was fine. Sam, I want quick, how was your watch? And then I have a thing I'm dying to talk about that we keep forgetting to talk about on the podcast.
Oh, okay. It fairly standard. Did make some short rib.
Oh yes, a man after my own heart.
Yes. So the first half hour of this movie was me just sort of hungrily anticipating this short rib.
Yes,
getting nice and tender. And then
now, how'd you cook it, my friend?
Just a normal braise.
Just a normal braise, yeah. That's the way you go for sure.
The old Dutch oven braise, and ooh, it was good. Yeah. Burned the dickens out of my finger. But it's fine now. But it was like the fingertip.
Oh,
yeah. I was putting some onions in, and I didn't want them to splash, but I lowered my hand too much and lowered my finger right into the cooking oil.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's not what you want.
No, because it got under my fingernail.
Oh, that's not how they do it in The Bear.
No, it is not. Not once does he lower his fingertip into screaming hot beef tallow.
Yeah, that's not what I remember. Jesus, well, I'm glad your finger's okay, and I'm glad the dinner came out great because all-time favorite short rib. You know me. You're always ragging on me for cooking it, but it's pretty good. And if you can eat short rib a lot, like that's high eating right there, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, you're cruising for gout at that point. But there are worse things, I guess.
Hey, gout is just a measure of success, depending on how you view it, my friend.
I like that. I like that very much.
Yeah, a little gout just means that you've been, your body's not a temple. Your body is a vehicle for pleasure.
And pleasure is, in this case, very rich foods.
Very rich foods. Dangerously rich foods.
That make your feet hurt all the time or something. Yeah.
Yep.
So what is it that we have been meaning to talk about?
I want to talk about the hidey hole.
The hidey hole.
The hidey hole that you discovered.
The hidey hole.
The secret hole.
Yes.
The secret room you discovered in your house.
Yes, just over there for our video watchers. Just over there.
Just out of frame.
Yeah, so we got new floors up here. We've discussed this before. I needed to empty everything that was touching the floor from the upstairs. And the closet in the office in here has a little door in it that goes to the attic. And so I was like, well, I'll just chuck a bunch of shit in there. So I cracked that fucker open and I look inside and there's all this like insulation chunguses on the floor there. And so I was like, well, I don't want to put my stuff in there and get it coated and all this chunkus. So but then I noticed something. I noticed something odd in the pile of insulation. And that was socks.
Yes.
a lot of blue socks. They kind of look like hospital socks now that I think of it.
Yeah, they kind of do.
And so I was perplexed by this. And so I start looking in this little room a little closer, because it's not the full attic like I thought. Like I thought it wrapped around to the full attic. It doesn't. It's like a self-contained bit of attic. There's a table in there. Mm-hmm. There's a lamp in there. Mm-hmm. There's some sort of old device. There's a basket full of what looks to be photo albums. There are a bunch of cigarette packs. A bunch of cans of exquisitely old Pepsi.
I think it's Crystal Pepsi, isn't it?
No, it's not Crystal Pepsi. I wish.
Yeah.
But it is like the old Pepsi logo.
It is, folks, the 1980s Pepsi logo.
And then also in the corner are a couple Milwaukee 40s.
I forgot about
And then there's a
old
shelf.
Milwaukee. When you're stuck in your little hidey hole smoking away, you know what I depend on? Old Milwaukee 40s.
Old
they get
Milwaukee
you fucked
40s.
Up.
And they still have booze in them.
What?
I'm pretty sure they're not empty.
Okay, that's just new data, baby.
So here's the thing, folks. I saw all this, and then I became extremely alarmed that a person was living in my attic.
To part the kimono a little bit, to part the curtains.
Mm-hmm.
You showed me the hidey hole because you said, you sent me a text and said, remind me to show you the secret room I found.
With no context.
And I said, hell yes. And then the next time I was at your house helping you move some of the stuff, aforementioned stuff, you showed me all of this. And I did the same thing, cataloged all the things in there. Yeah, what were we just talking about? Sorry.
I feared that there was someone living in my attic.
So at first I thought exactly what you thought, which is, this is a bunch of weird stuff. And then I too had the thought, is somebody living in your attic hidey hole? Because that's a pretty natural leap for discovering you have an attic hidey hole.
And I should also say, every once in a while, Kenan and I have smelled like cigarette smoke. This also was part of why I was so alarmed, because I was like, has someone been up there just puffing away?
Just puffing, just dealing, chain smoking through their problems.
Yeah. So when I first happened across it and this thought screamed through my brain, I searched that room up and down just to make sure there is no way a person could have been hiding in there, a goblin man waiting to ambush me and kill me while I sleep.
Yeah, I think the presence of the, again, vintage 80s old Milwaukee bottles and cartons of cigarettes, and not Crystal Pepsi, but pretty close, would have been on the same factory line as Crystal Pepsi.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. All of this combined means you probably don't have a goblin man, but you might have a phantom. Have you considered this angle?
I have not considered a phantom.
Okay, you haven't pondered the ghost problem.
No, mostly because I know what to do if it's a goblin man.
Yeah, call the police.
Oh, lay down and die.
Okay.
Let him kill me and my lovely wife and live in the house.
Yeah.
But if it's a phantom, I don't know what to do.
I don't know either. Rock salt? I guess pour a bunch of rock salt around the opening.
Yeah, should I maybe put some fucking Morton's kosher salt right in front of the door and just make sure it can't come in?
Burn like a whole lot of sage, I think.
Yeah.
But let's just catalog things really quick, and then I want to hear, let's each give a theory on what we think is happening.
Okay.
All right, so we got empty cigarette cartons.
I think they're empty, but yes.
Good. Used cartons of cigarettes. Old Milwaukee, some still left in the hopper, baby.
Yes, there are at least two.
Yeah, at least two
in there.
So far it's stacking up. Pepsi.
And I would say probably 5 cans of Pepsi. One definitely still open. The others I don't recall.
Yeah. And socks.
And socks and a table and some weird old device. And a lamp. And and the basket full of, I think, photo albums.
Yeah. I have suspicions about those photo albums.
Oh, you think they're nude photos?
I think they're nude photos. I think they're a little risque.
See, I want to take the shop vac up here, suck up all the insulation chunkuses.
Yeah.
And then go in there. Take a real good deep dive.
Okay, so this is perfect because you should do this. It's your house. You need to explore every inch of your home. You got to become familiar with this, especially with the wee baby Keanu on the way.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, I don't explore the parts that scare me.
Yeah, that's fair. If I had a spooky basement, you would never catch me in the spooky basement.
No.
But this is perfect because when you do this exploration, you'll have 2 theories locked and loaded. And then you can verify which one is correct. So, Sam, what do you think is going on with the hidey hole?
Do you want a joke answer or a real answer?
I want a real answer.
I think they used it as a dark room.
A dark room?
For like photo development.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my honest to God theory, is that someone was using this as a dark room.
Interesting.
And so they were in there for however long it takes to develop, I guess, horrible nude photos. Puffing away on cigarettes down in Milwaukee 40s and chasing it with Pepsi.
No matter how you split it, this is someone who likes a good Marlboro Red, cowboy filters, loves a Milwaukee 40, and also appreciates combining these elements with Pepsi. Sam, what are the socks for?
Probably jerking it.
I think jerking it.
It has to be jerking it. It's not. I can't think of an explanation where it's not beating off. To be perfectly honest with you,
unless maybe in the process of developing film, that kind of hospital sock is like in bulk is useful in some way.
Man, I hope so. I really do. Honestly, the more we talk about how these are likely erotic photos, the more I'm worried that they are criminally erotic. Yes.
I think you got a real potential problem on your hands.
Yeah. Was it like the 80s Josh Duggar in there?
Could have been the 80s Josh Duggar.
Because I don't know what to do, because I think if I call the police and I say it's not mine, that immediately I am under investigation.
Yeah, you're burn it, I think, is the only.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they can't prosecute a ghost.
Or can they? We are crawling up on Halloween, which as I know, I think we all know, Halloween is the only day that you can process ghosts and ghouls.
Yeah, that's why the courts are crazy busy.
So busy with all those ghosts, ghouls, and vampires.
Yeah, because you got your big ticket items like Ted Bundy. Bring him back. Let's get him on another charge. Year after year, let's just find something else. Like
we found another victim. We gotta,
Yeah, exactly. But then there are the 80s Josh Duggars of the world who are under the radar, but shouldn't be. They're much bigger cases.
Oh yeah, it's why it's so hard to get a good attorney in October, because they're spending the whole month building a case.
Yeah, and they're working on their seances.
They're building a case against Blackbeard.
Yeah,
because he did some stuff.
Edward Teach did at least some misdemeanors.
At a minimum.
At a minimum, probably looking at some felonies as well.
Sure. And so, they're spending, poring over historical documents, finding, witness statements.
Yeah.
So that they can put him into ghost jail.
Yeah. Which reminds me of another thing I want to talk about.
Oh, wait, no, you didn't say what you think.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm going to talk about my theory first, and then we'll do this other thing. All right, my honest answer, and I've thought a lot about your hidey hole. So the office you inhabit that folks can kind of see in the frame, I could see that having been a bedroom at one point in time.
I believe it was.
Okay, I think it was possibly a teen's bedroom.
Okay.
Gender not important.
Sure.
And I think the hidey hole was a foray into a flavor of adulthood. If that makes sense. The kind of person that would saddle up to a bar later in life, down a Milwaukee 40, while chain smoking and eating peanuts and talking about how great Jane Fonda looked in that new movie.
I see. So this is someone who was like, I'm an adult now. I'm going to go into my bar that I have at home.
Yeah. We're seeing the incubation period for the bar regular. So this is someone who needs a hidey hole to chain smoke, look at potentially compromising photos, which is, man, olden days were weird. Olden days in this case being slightly before we were born. So I don't know how to feel about that. But could you just, I mean, you had magazines, right?
Like, yeah, you just had magazines.
You had magazines for beating it. Did you just look at them? Like, surely some people just pull them out, just take a look.
Well, Luke, I'm gonna answer your question with a question. What the fuck else would you do with it?
Well, I mean, obviously there's
like, the jerk they're not licking it.
No. But if this person had a hidey hole and chain smoked through a pack or more of cigarettes, that means they were just looking for an extended period of time. They were getting real horned up before they did the deed. Or
they're gooner baiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or they're simmering their meatloaf.
The gooner hole.
The gooner hole. Because the problem is the socks. I think we can both agree.
The socks are easily the most distressing part.
Yes, they're horrible.
In this upsettingly humanizing way.
Yeah.
For some reason, you subtract the socks from this room. It's odd, but I can live with it. You put the socks in there, now I'm scared for my life.
Now we got a problem. Yeah, because again, it's a flavor of hidey hole without the socks. It's like a flavor of hidey hole that's like, this was the spot to drink old Milwaukee 40s and, just burn a bunch down. Add in the socks though.
Now there's a whole different flavor.
Now there's a sexual tension to this room.
Yes. So you have everything in that room, and it's like, I guess it was like a dark room or a workshop or something like that. Throw in the socks. It's a pervert den.
It's a pervert den. Yeah, that's what it is. So I think it was a teen's hideaway to remain undiscovered. I think your old device might be a radio if you take a look at it.
So it doesn't look like a radio. It looks like some sort of like VCR thing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sam, if it has a tape in it, I cannot emphasize this enough. Do not watch
it. But I wouldn't even have the means to watch it.
True. You'd have to go to like Goodwill and hunt for a VHS player.
Let's talk about this. Okay. Let's say it's not even a VCR. Let's say it's a fucking Betamax player.
Yeah.
Okay, so first I have to find something that plays Betamax, which is a task in and of itself.
Yeah.
And then, bud, I have to find something that will adapt whatever the output of a Betamax is to plug into my television.
Yeah, so you're plugging a device that's natively pumping out like 240p into your big beautiful television that's 4K OLED.
Yes, and notably, I think only has HDMI inputs.
Yeah, which I think you could probably get an adapter for, but here's the problem. Even if it's not the Ring VHS, which it probably is, the Ring VHS. Or not the Ring. The Ring's the one.
Yeah, the Ring.
Yeah, the Ring. Which one's the 7 days with the phone call? Was that also The Ring?
I think it's The Ring. Okay. I don't know. I don't watch these things.
Seems like there's two concepts in that movie, now that I'm thinking about it, that are sort of not connected. Yeah, because they play it and then they get anyway.
Yeah.
Even if it's not that, it's gonna look like it is, because it's going from 240p to 4K. So it's going to be just a horrifying panache of pixels.
What if, hey bud, let's scrap the porn for a second. Let's scrap that angle.
Scrap the porn.
What if this is all the horrible, violent, compromising material that Republicans are always claiming against Hillary Clinton? Like, what if this is Hillary Clinton, like, killing Bill's mistresses and like eating babies?
Yeah,
I think
this is Hillary Clinton's hidey hole.
Or the person who had compromising materials on her.
True. I like the idea that it's her specific hidey hole.
Yeah, Hillary didn't own the house. She just would sneak her way in and was like, I'll hide my shit here and I'll put my socks here to throw them off the scent.
Throw them off the scent. Look at, because we are pretty hung up on the socks.
We are so hung up on the socks that we didn't even consider that this is evidence that Hillary Clinton has done murder
and eaten babies. I love it. Well, if you do any more explorations, you'll have to return and give us the further details on the hidey hole.
Yeah, maybe it's Hillary Clinton doing murders and Barack Obama as a jihadist. Is that anything?
Someone out there is now listening to the podcast because of that, and they're going to be very disappointed in the rest of what we have to offer.
Yeah, they're going to be like, these guys fucking get it.
They get it.
And then they're going to hear me say next that thank God the WGA got what they deserved in that strike.
Got what they deserved.
Fucking unions for days, baby.
Unions. Just strike, baby. Unionize and strike. Also go listen to our Street Kings episode. I think you'll enjoy our comments on the cops, probably.
Yes, you will love them. If you think that Hillary Clinton did murder crimes, you will love what we think about the police.
Although there is a weird Venn diagram of people on the left who dislike cops, and then crazy conspiracy theorists.
You mean the people at January 6th?
Yeah, the January 6th people
who beat the piss out of police officers.
Yeah, exactly. That's a weird Venn diagram of those so two. Strange. And the center is just disliking the police.
Yeah, it is also interesting that within the big tent of the Republican Party, you have people who revere cops and people who also stormed the Capitol and killed one.
Yeah.
What a big tent, though,
It's a big welcoming tent for very select groups of people.
It's the grand old party, baby.
It's the grand old party.
Look, what's the plot of Henry's Crime?
I have one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Don't worry, there's not that much in this movie.
No, there's not.
You mentioned the ghost thing. We all know Halloween is when you get to try ghosts in court.
Yeah,
that's big.
And put them in ghost jail, which I think is a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, bring out the Rosenbergs again. Let's give them another crack at it.
Yeah, really.
Maybe they'll do better this time. My thing, I genuinely want to do this, is I want to track down the gravestones of people who were really shitty and are completely forgotten. So right now, that's Ted Cruz. We despise this man, right? Yeah. 70 years down the road, probably no one is going to remember Ted Cruz.
God willing.
Like maybe longer. Let's say 100 years. No one's going to be like, fuck Ted Cruz. They're going to go, who? But we will remember.
You mean the guy whose dad killed JFK?
Who was possibly the Zodiac killer? Allegedly. I genuinely want to go find like Lord Bramble Patch, the forgotten like ransacker of India or whatever, and and shout at their gravestones. This is a genuine thing. If I had enough money, I would just fly around the world going to these people's gravestones and giving them what for.
Why do that though when you can wait for Halloween and put them all on trial?
This is what I'm saying. This Halloween thing, I forgot it because I don't know. I'm stupid. Mm-hmm. It's a whole new angle because then it could put Lord Bramblepatch on trial.
Yes. I do want to draw a quick distinction here. Lord Bramblepatch is in no way, shape, or form related to Francis Brimblepants.
Francis Brimblepants is a totally different name.
Totally different.
They're completely separate.
They have a similar pattern.
Yeah.
But totally different. And so Francis Brimblepants has done no crimes.
Yeah.
Or at least far fewer.
He's a cat.
He's a kitty cat.
He's a kitty cat, so he's probably done what I would call misdemeanors, but probably no felonies.
Meowstemeanors? Is that anything?
Sure. Anyway.
Felony? Is that something?
Felines. I don't know.
High crimes and misdemeanors is all that I can think of now.
Maybe the dad jokes will come after the birth of the weekend.
Yeah, hopefully they approve because this is just the bottom of the barrel.
Unless that's your thing, is you're gonna have dad jokes, but also they're gonna be fucking wretched.
Yeah, just pure trash.
Like they don't even work. They're not even good jokes.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
What's the plot, please? Okay.
The plot is Keanu Reeves is a security guard in Buffalo, New York. He's married to Judy Greer. And he has bad friends. He has some friends show up in the middle of like winter and they're like, we got a baseball game going on. One of our guys is sick. Can you drive us? And he's like, sure, because he's an idiot. I think the movie actually plays that out, that he's not the brightest guy in the world.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. Henry is his name, by the way, hence Henry's crime. Henry's crime is that he does accidentally do a baby driver.
And whomst among us
hasn't driven a friend to what they think is the baseball game, only for them and 3 other of your close friends to get out and rob a bank.
Yeah, and you, of course, fail to notice that they're pulling ski masks down over their faces and pulling a gun out of their sock.
Yeah.
How could you?
How could you? So Henry gets tagged by the security guard because the other guys run off. And but the security guard was on break or grabbing a coffee across the street or something. Yeah. And sees him and tags him. So he spends a fair whack of time in jail, where he meets a guy named Max. And he gets out of jail on good behavior, I guess, or something.
Yes.
And anyway, then he decides, if you've served the time, might as well do the crime.
Might as well
do the crime. Judy Greer, by the way, has left him for one of the guys in the bank robbery, who has now gone legit, and they're having a kid. Anyway, he gets Max out on good behavior as well, and recruits him for this job. So what they're going to do is they're going to rob the same bank. There's a tunnel between the bank and a nearby theater. So what happens? Keanu gets a job at the theater playing a character in a Chekhov play.
Where he Chekhov's play.
That's what it's called. And he meets an actress and they fall in love. And he tells her everything. So she's kind of on board for this whole thing. Yada, yada, yada. More people get added. Judy Greer's husband going straight doesn't work out. So he joins the crew. They're digging through the tunnel to the bank. This shithead guy that did the original bank robbery catches wind of it.
Do you remember his name by any chance?
No.
Eddie Vibes.
Eddie Vibes?
Eddie Vibes.
Eddie Vibes is an amazing name.
Yeah, the more like Eddie Bad Vibes.
Eddie Bad Vibes for sure.
Am I right?
Am I right? You are right. Eddie Bad Vibes gets Bad Vibes Eddie gets in on this action by force. And eventually the security guard that busted Keanu catches wind of this. And tells him the exact date to rob it for the most money.
Which
the most
is
money.
Like $13 million.
It's a lot of money for a regional bank in Buffalo.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but also like compared to a lot of crimes in movies, pretty small potatoes.
Pretty small taters. But hey, Buffalo, low cost of living. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, he's in the play. Keanu is. He's actually doing the damn thing. So opening night, he's like acting and then going to rob the bank as they successfully dug out the tunnel. They get all the money. They're starting to get away. Keanu has a change in heart and decides to return. Doesn't take any of the money, I don't think. Returns to the play, improvises a scene with the actress that he's in love with. A reconciliation scene. Everybody loves it. Woo! Great, just like Chekhov wrote it. And that's kind of the end of the movie. So Max and the other guy get away. I just realized he's abandoning Judy Greer in the soon-to-be born wee baby Joe, I think is his name. Anyway, everybody's hunky-dory. Bad Vibes Eddie tries to pull a gun and take all the money, and then Max beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, fucks him up real good.
And they just leave him in the tunnel. This is appropriate for Bad Vibes Eddie. Sam, what'd you think of this movie?
This movie's bland.
This movie is small.
Yeah.
It's just very small.
Yeah. Unambitious.
Unambitious is a great word for it.
Yeah. There's so little happening, which is why we had to talk about My Hidey Hole for half an hour.
Because here's the problem. There's only like 4 people in this movie. And
as you can tell from your recap, like 3 things happen.
Yeah, a whole lot of it is just Peter Stormare as another Eastern European. Why does he keep getting cast as Eastern Europeans and Russians?
Is he not?
He's Swedish.
Close enough.
But everything you see him in, they're like, that's Vlad from Bulgaria. He'll fuck you up.
I think they're like, they're kind of Baltic.
I think I saw an interview with him once and somebody asked him about this. And he was like, I don't know. The first job I ever got, I showed up on set and they're like, you can do Latvian, right? And I was like, yeah. And then he did it and he actually did a really good job. And so he kept getting those roles.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's mostly him yelling at people about how to act good, and Keanu, some romance scenes, a lot of digging.
A lot of
digging.
A lot of fucking.
A lot of fucking.
As is typical with Keanu. The man loves to get his dick in.
Yeah, he goes to town on some toe curling. Yeah, it's just it's a really small movie. I mean, it's not even like, so Ocean's 11, right? They have big plans.
Yes.
Like they're going to rob the fuck out of a big casino. And there's a lot of work that goes into this, and fun recon and snappy music. Nah, they're just robbing a regional bank in Buffalo.
Yeah, it's like not quite even like a heist movie, because there's so little like heist planning. It's literally like he sees an old article that says that there's a tunnel between the theater and the bank in a toilet.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's my plan. So it's just it's like an hour and 40 minutes, and it's so slow.
Yeah, it's pretty slow. It's pretty slow burn.
It drags. So what'd you watch this on?
Apple.
Apple. Okay.
Because here were the options. Freevee.
With ads. That was what I did.
Which I saw this and saw the ads and said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I will happily fork over $4 at most to avoid ads. And nowhere had it except Apple.
Yeah.
So for once, I went to Tim Cook's house, baby.
How was Tim?
Tim is great.
Yeah.
Doing
pretty high off the new iPhone launch.
Yeah, it's got some overheating problems, but everybody likes a phone that runs hot, right? To the point of burning you. Tim Cook's house is fabulous, because I know we've talked a lot about Jeff Bezos's divorce shack and Bill Gates' divorce hut. Both are doing great. Tim Cook's house, fucking fabulous.
God, I should go to Tim's house one of these days.
Yeah.
Now, how mad is he about USB-C? Is he finally like accepted? Is he at that point?
Let's just say he does. So I don't think you get physical visas for visiting European countries if you're an American citizen. Like, you can, but I think there's most of them. Tim Cook had a lot of physical visas that he was burning.
Interesting.
As I should have, as sort of a protest against the EU mandating him to implement USB-C.
Interesting.
Which means that he applied for and received a lot of visas.
Which seems odd.
Yeah, it seems really weird.
But I gotta respect the tenacity, though.
Yeah. I mean, you're halfway through burning a Slovakian visa, and you're feeling pretty powerful at that point.
I feel. I do wonder why he needed several visas for EU countries, because it seems like you just need the one visa for the Eurozone.
Yeah, you kind of do. So that's what I mean. Like, it's kind of nuts that he applied for individual parts of the EU.
And strange that they didn't catch that.
Yeah. Well, he's got a huge legal department. It is Apple.
Sure. Yeah. So maybe he did it under different names. So like Tim Cook,
Apple.
Tim Apple, Time Cook, Tim Cock, Time Cock.
Time Cock.
Tim Cook, but with a K, so it looks like he's Dutch.
Yeah.
Time Apple.
Time Apple's great.
So I assume he just did that.
Yeah. Anyway, he did very promptly give me an ultra high definition version of this movie for about $4. So yeah, no problems at Tim Cook's house. Actually,
nice.
I might try that more in the future, because it was easy breezy.
Yeah, I went to Jeff's house, and he said I'm really worried about this lawsuit, this antitrust lawsuit that the U.S. has filed against me. And I said, well, bud, you're sort of in a hell of your own making.
Yeah, you sort of did all the things they're accusing you of. Have you seen that list, by the way, of the things that they're accused of? No, I have not. It's Amazon. It's basically just a list of Amazon's business practices. And it's like, these are all crimes.
Yeah, so he's worried about that. He was pretty anxious. And then he was also like, on top of that, you know how we bought Freevee and then made it only accessible through our stuff? Which I was like, you mean that crime you did? And he said, that one of them, yes.
Yeah, one of many.
He said, so you can only watch it through that, but there are going to be ads. And I said, okay, that's fine. And he said, there will be no warning when an ad arrives.
That's what I fucking hate about Freevee.
Yeah, but I'm watching this movie, and we're moving along. I like pretty early in the film, I think he like gets arrested, and then all of a sudden it goes, where's Ashley? And sorry, Daphne, I scared the cat a little. And it's just this ad for something about a show where a person named Ashley is missing.
Yeah.
And what's also interesting is that all of Freevee's shows look uniquely terrible.
Yes. Yeah.
They look so bad. And then it had the fucking gall to show me a Fast 10 trailer.
Oh no.
Ooh, brutal stuff.
Brutal shit.
Though honestly, bud, this movie was so fucking boring. I was like, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe Fast 10's worth checking out.
I would almost rather be furious than bored.
Yeah. Fast and Furious is like, those two words are on opposite poles of this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, they are antithetical to what Henry's Crime is putting down.
This movie, man, there's like nothing to say about it because nothing happens.
Yeah.
Who's
your favorite character in this thing?
I guess James Caan.
Yeah, it's got to be Max.
Yeah, one thing I will say that I like about the movie is that at no point does it dip into tropes about like prisons.
Yeah,
where it's like, oh, you gotta like beat someone up and make them your bitch or whatever. Like, there's none of that. They're just very friendly.
Yeah.
Which I don't actually think is how the prison system works. Which is why we should get rid of it.
Yeah.
But it was nice that they were just like all pals in there.
Yeah. Just having a good time. Yeah, he's probably my favorite character too. He's like actually funny.
Yeah, he's actually funny. There's actually kind of something happening with him.
Yeah, because here's the problem with Henry. Let's talk about Keanu Reeves. The focus of this podcast.
Yeah.
Henry is dumb as a brick.
So the least observant man on the planet.
He's, because like you said, it's not a joke and it's not played as a joke. His buddies start throwing on ski masks and pulling out guns. And he has this look that's like, huh.
Yeah, they literally say, oh, we got to make a quick withdrawal. And they're at the bank. Yeah. And he just sits there and he's like,
Maybe we'll go to that baseball game afterward.
Yeah.
In the middle of winter.
And then the alarm goes off at the bank and he's still just perplexed.
Yeah. So, guy's not very observant. He's not very bright. He doesn't. Okay. The movie throws things at Henry.
Begging. At one point, a literal car.
They're begging for him to react in any way. So, like, his wife divorces him because she falls in love with somebody. She shows up at the prison. She's like, I fell in love with somebody. Nothing.
No, he's like, cool.
I'm happy for you. You're happy? Cool. I'm happy. Yeah.
And then he comes out and finds out that she's pregnant with this other guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, cool.
All right. Cool. Like you said, he gets hit by a car.
Yeah. And he's just nonplussed, which
is
not how you make a good movie.
No, except for exactly one. We see him emote one time.
In
the movie, which is when they're in the getaway car and he starts screaming, "Stop the fucking car, Joe."
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. Now, I will say a scene that I enjoyed was when he's like auditioning for the role in Chekhov's play.
Yeah.
And you see Keanu do layers of acting. And so you get like Keanu doing like some dumb schlub's performance and it's bad. And then Peter Stormare yells at him. Yeah. And then you see like level 1 Keanu. And it's like, it's kind of a performance. And then Peter Stormare yells at him some more. And then you get like level 2 Keanu. And it's like, okay, we're getting something. And then we build up to I would say a full-blown performance from Keanu Reeves.
It's Keanu Reeves bean dip.
Yes.
Yeah.
A 7-layer Keanu Reeves dip.
It's a 7-layer Keanu Reeves bean dip.
So yeah, that was a highlight for me. So this, we've talked about it. This takes place in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And
home of the wings.
Which, as we all know, is on the coast of Lake Erie. Luke, I gotta tell you, grade school or I guess just my whole education really, but predominantly grade school, really made me think I was going to need to know more about the Erie Canal than I do. Just in day-to-day life.
I can't tell you anything about the Erie Canal.
Well, I looked it up because I got so fucking bored during the movie.
Yeah, I hear that.
It connects Lake Erie to the Hudson River. And it's like 300 something miles long. And I was trying to, this is how bored I got. I pulled up Google Maps and I was like, I'm just going to follow it on the map.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I learned a lot about the Erie Canal in school. And at no point have I ever needed to know anything about the Erie Canal in my adult life.
I mean, here I am, a full-blown adult.
With a big dick job.
With a big dick job and a mortgage and everything. I can't tell you dick about the Erie Canal. I just learned some stuff about it.
Yeah.
But I've done just fine up to this point.
Yeah. Another illustration of how far gone I was is they go to Niagara Falls in this movie.
Yeah.
My guy, do you know what my first thought was when I saw those falls, which I have seen in real life?
Oh damn!
Humble brag.
Mr. Voyager over here, Mr. Globetrotter.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide is what I like to be called.
Yeah.
So my first thought upon seeing it in the movie was, where's all that water coming from?
Okay.
I'm a fucking idiot, Luke. How is that my thought? I see a waterfall and I'm like, man, that's a lot of water. Where's it coming from?
That's Canada, mostly.
Yeah, Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Canadian water, baby.
Another thought I had, and honestly, probably the last thought I have about this movie.
Yeah.
How many crime movies just wouldn't work if the United States had a functioning healthcare system?
Oh, because you mean like the security guard being like, we went bankrupt because my wife got sick and now I want the money.
Yeah, now I'm going to help you rob this bank.
Yeah. Honestly, there are so many crime movies that would disappear.
Just not work anymore.
Yeah, well, there's a reason you don't ever see crime movies like this set in Canada. Because it would just be like, why are you helping us? Well, my wife got sick, and then we took her to the clinic.
And she got better for free.
And then we went to the hospital, and she got better for free. So why am I here?
Yeah, turns out I'm actually not mad at anyone.
Turns out I'm good, because she's still alive and great, and we're just as financially sound as we were.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it turns out I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The number of movies in general that would disappear. Yeah. If we had a functioning judicial system and or a healthcare system.
Yeah. You got any other thoughts about this before I start telling you about something else?
Genuinely, Keanu Reeves, there's the last thing. Keanu Reeves wears like a goatee and mustache.
Horrible.
For his role.
It's so bad.
It's really bad. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. What you got?
So lately, Ken and I have been trying to find something to watch. And I happened across on HBO Max the British television series Naked Attraction.
Okay, I think I've heard of this one.
Naked Attraction is now my favorite show of all time.
Okay.
Because here's what it is. It is each episode's two contestants.
Yeah.
Who are looking for a date. That's all. Not looking for love. Not looking for a spouse.
Yeah.
Just a date. That's all. And they go into the studio. They introduce themselves and they're like, yeah, I've had trouble dating. This is what I do. Blah, 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 blah. And then they go into the studio with Anne or Anna. She's the host. And it's a pitch black room.
Yeah.
Like a void. Save for 6 colored rectangular prisms.
Yeah.
That contain single people.
Ah.
And these single people are stark naked.
Okay.
And so round 1 of the show is it reveals everything below the waist.
Porky Pig in it, sort of.
Oh, yeah. And there is nothing is blurred. Nothing is censored.
Okay.
It is full-blown, full frontal nudity. And,
which is kind of your jam for some reason.
Oh, it is. and they take a close look at everybody's parts. They talk about the parts. They talk about their preferences for parts. We get facts about people, like surveys of what people prefer. Okay. It's quite interesting. And then they eliminate one person. Okay. So then round 2 is it reveals everything neck down.
Yeah.
And we go through it. They eliminate another person. And then they reveal the faces. And they go through and they eliminate another. Yeah. And then they hear the voices and they eliminate another. Now we're just down to 2. Then those 2 come out of their box while the contestant goes and gets naked themselves. Nice. And they come back out, and then the remaining 2 options comment on the contestant's body, and then the contestant picks the one they want to go on a date with, and then they go on a date clothed. That's it. That's the show. And it's so simple, and it's so good. And before you give me some shit about it, it is actually pretty fucking progressive.
Okay.
Because it is incredibly sex positive.
Sure.
It is very blunt.
It would have to be. It would be wild if it was slut shaming.
Yeah, if it was like gross. It's very accepting. They have different people with different sexual orientations on there. We've got pan people. We have trans people. Ooh. You get again like facts that just teach you about like health and stuff. They have people with disabilities, and it all is all treated like everything is on equal footing. Everybody is a good body. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Except, and this is just me, these are British people. Yeah. So they're not the best looking people. And also, they don't circumcise as much as we do here in the States.
Yeah, it's a interesting statistic, that.
And it is challenging to be presented with that many foreskins.
Yeah, there's a limit, I think, on the number of foreskins anyone should have to interact with on any given day.
I gotta tell you, in any given episode, you're seeing at least 6.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
It's a lot.
Sometimes, man. 12.
Whoa!
I mean, if it's all dudes and they're all uncut, it's a lot of foreskin.
That's a lot.
Sometimes, way more foreskin than you thought was possible.
See, that's the troubling part about it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I gotta tell you, you need to check this fucking show out. Because
I have such a deep aversion to this entire concept.
It's so good. It's so simple.
Yeah.
And then you get to do things like scream when there's a particularly massive penis on shown to you.
Sure.
I was the other night assembling a Playmobil pirate ship because I bought one for D&D.
I thought you were going to see the wee baby Keanu.
Eventually, yes. The problem is it's not appropriate until he's 3. So until then, it's for me.
It's an investment, is what it is.
So I was assembling this pirate ship, and we were watching the penis show, as we call it now. And I turned, and I am face to face with 4K UHD cock, and I screamed.
It is, I will say this, I have personal aversions to basically every inch of this thing, pun intended.
Several inches.
But I do respect the fact that the show could even get made, because in America, no way.
Oh, absolutely not.
There
not
is
a fucking chance.
I'm kind of surprised that this isn't German, because this seems like a very German concept.
I gotta tell you, I am shocked that it's a British show, because it's the Brits. They like, they're pretty averse to this, but no.
Yeah, they have a lot of the same hangups around nudity that we do.
Yes.
Versus Germans, who will towel off in the nude after a nice brisk swim,
right,
and expose you to all their German genitals without so much as an afterthought.
I think that's why it wouldn't work in Germany. It would be too kinky.
It would be too kinky, I feel like, yeah.
And so it would, like, for the viewer, it would be uncomfortable, because everyone in the studio would, like, I assume, be like slowly stroking themselves.
Yeah.
The whole time, and it would be like, yes, that is the most wonderful foreskin. I would love to stretch it out over a bowling ball. And it's just like, and they're all like kind of pre-coming, and it's just like, I don't, no.
Yeah.
But with this one, it's just like, aren't those nice balls? And they're like, yeah, I do like big meaty clackers like that.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you found your corner of the internet streaming services.
You
know what I mean? We all need it. Mine's probably more Miss Fisher's murder mysteries. Yours is the penis show. It takes all types.
Yeah. Do you want mail?
Oh, yes. I want mail.
All right. So this one is from Daniel, and the subject line says, "This is my episode." And Daniel writes, "I have so many tidbits. Drunk while unplugging. Would have been awesome. I did get drunk after the fact and would have loved to be drunk during. In the end, it turns out we weren't blood related." Okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh at that, because it sounds like an ordeal, Daniel, but
yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah. Baby beds. So my wife just wrote a presentation on the pediatric airway, and babies sure do have an occlusion-ready airway. So, business idea. Why don't we start making baby hammocks? Like the weaved hammocks. Anyone can breathe through that. And he sent attached a photo of a hammock. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, baby hammock, man.
And then, scooting over here, because I can't read it through the microphone shield. Itaw. I did a searchy poo and found this. It's a Quora post that is, "Why is Utah so strange?" And he said, "So y'all are onto something." And then priesties and their pasties, they can become after kids get grown, which is another Quora entry. Can you become a Catholic priest if you have a child? So, and then he closes it by saying, "Doopy doop."
Nice. That was a tasty email, Daniel.
A lot of fun little factoids there.
Yeah, it was your episode. You were not wrong.
Yeah, absolutely not. So do you want to talk about what we'll be watching next week?
Yep, as per usual, I'm gonna watch you pull it up.
Yeah, I haven't read it. I was double checking, because I'm pretty sure I knew it, but I wanted to double check.
Is that a first? Is that the first time ever you've had it ready?
Last week.
Oh, nice.
Last week I had it. So this is 2012's Generation So what do you think 2012's Generation is about?
It's got to be a Michael Moore style, where Keanu Reeves is like hosting it. Takedown of the millennial generation, just sort of like exploring all of the generational divides between everybody else and millennials, all the weird quirks that make us what we are. We're Generation baby. And Keanu Reeves is like narrating it for some reason.
Okay. I like it. It. I think that it's Generation
Okay.
Which stands for Undercover Mensch. And this is a group of young Jewish lads who go into spy work.
Is it like the opposite of a prank show? Do they just like do mitzvot? Or like they just go around doing good deeds?
Yeah,
so people are like, what a mensch that guy was.
Corporate propaganda show Undercover Boss?
Undercover Boss, yeah.
Yes, it's that, but Minches. Doing good deeds without the corporate propaganda.
I adore that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll find out what it is next week. Until then, folks, thank you for listening. You can find us on Facebook at Hanksy Panksy Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Hanksy Panksy Pod. You can find us on Blue Sky at Hanksy Panksy. You can send us an email at hanksypanksypod@gmail.com. Let me know if you're watching Naked Attraction. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/HanksyPanksy. We got a lot of fun stuff over there. We got we got some fun projects that I was telling Luke about that are coming up on there. And you chuck us enough money, you can be one of Hanks's heroes, like Tuck and Daniel. And fellas, I'll
did you vote him into the final round of Naked Attraction?
I would vote you into the final round of Naked Attraction so that you can see my naked body and comment on it. Luke, do you have a final quote?
I do. As per usual, this was not the line read. I'm going to give it to you like a 1920s gumshoe.
Ooh, okay.
It is, next to Gorbachev, he's my favorite Russian, see?
God damn it. God damn it. Well, folks, thanks for listening to another episode of Hanksy Panksy. We'll be back next week with 2012's Generation Undercover Bench.